acoustical studies and reduce the noise of an equipment or a machinery. In this case, a air conditioner or even your fridge. In olden days, the fridges always make lots of noise. Nowadays, the every almost of the equipments are, or the fixtures, electrical fixtures are very quiet, like a fans or yeah, refrigerators and things like that, especially your washing machine. So the first solutions where the factory machine makes a noise, you have to actually tackle it in a acoustical manner. You increase the shock absorber panels or the shock absorber treatment for your floor slab, and so you reduce the noise by vibration, and at the same time, to control the noise level of the various equipments moving inside, you use acoustical experts to reduce the noise level. In the second condition where the saw is used or needle vibrator used, is a very the noise level, exposure to the noise level is not continuous, and it is not to everyone equally. It's not affecting the entire population that is working at site. So you can only give earmuffs to the people who are working closer to the equipment. Like if and whoever is going to use the saw, electrical saw, they can wear this. And people who are actually, staying about 30 or 40 meters away from this cutting area, they may not really face this much of issue for them. It may not be an issue for them. Only for people who are working with that. So either you can handle it at a personal level for the person you are giving them protective equipment, or to the at a machinery level you can actually acoustically treat it. So noise and work. So you just have to ask the question, what can I do? Till the maybe then these are the options that comes to your mind, and now you can just whether to work on it or not. It depends on the available funding and your sincerity towards the commitment, or your commitment towards the safety plan. And a high workload, you can always check this whether people are loaded so much, or whether their amount of work they are expected to do in a day or a particular within the time is appropriate. And because you imagine in any office or any workplace or any construction site for that matter, the workload, we have a huge varying population of age groups and male female population. So you cannot just fix one human being can do dash many cubic meters of concreting. Depending on the age also, there are so many factors which affects the productivity, final productivity. And so you have to remember this, you have to keep this in mind. And poorly maintained equipment, as someone already said, yes, poorly maintained equipment will irritate the person who's doing the job, and also it won't give the maximum productivity. So again, so you have to check for that. And missing and unclear instructions, yes, it's another issue. We have already discussed this. And constant disturbances and interruptions, and illogical design of equipment and instruments. Uh, yes, this should be the last one, because see, at sometimes. Okay, I'll give you a very architectural example. All of us have, when we were actually started our first kitchen design, our teachers used to say, you don't break the triangle, you don't break the work triangle. The work triangle is the one which connects the sink or stove and the refrigerator. You have heard this, right? Don't break your work triangle. Why do we say that? How many of you just uh,
Because
give
it's
me your
integrated,
own what is happening at your house? Okay, and so integrated for
Ma'am, that
what is the
will
point?
that ma'am that will comfort the end user, ma'am. By breaking it, it won't give it will feel difficult to work inside the kitchen. Who is working in the kitchen, they'll feel difficult.
Ah, yes. If you break the triangle every time, it will unnecessarily the time of finishing the job. In this case, cooking, and also um, it when people are working of other disturbances like external factors. Like in this case, if your maid or your children are going to cut the triangle and walk every now and then, it increases the risk level also. Because you might have heard this word, when your mother is cooking with hot oil, she'll say, when you were children, should have said, no, no, please don't come into the kitchen. Or when she has put very hot pot full of food, she might say, just don't touch the pot, it's still hot, something like that. These instructions are because the person who's working with that working in that area, they know which is hot, which is not hot, and they know how to move around. But if someone is going to cut across, then you have to be constantly warning them, this unnecessary no, you are. So all these illogical designs of equipments and instruments, what will happen is will increase the risk level unnecessarily. There is already inherent characteristics of the job that leads to accidents. Now, this illogical design of equipments and arrangements of instruments will increase the risk. So we have to make sure that this happens at site also. For example, in other ways, you might have heard, you always want people of stray nails and sharp steel objects or metal objects poking you at sight. So we always walk with shoes or protective gear. This is because uh, you know uh, this is because of the illogical or inefficient storage of materials. So if everything is done properly, if people who are going to work, carpenters are going to work in a place, and if they clean up the place after as soon as they finish and made sure not even a stray nail is left back, then everything is safe. So not only your instruments, but also your whatever equipments or whatever parts of it you are using, it has to be considered. How to store. Not in this case, illogical design doesn't mean restricted to factories, but here in our case, it also starts from how to use to how to store them after and before use. So these are the individual factors. Finally, it comes to the human being who are involved in the job, or who's involved in the process and how you are going to make them do it. Because if you there are two ways. Either you can tell them, if you're group, the entire team, you're informing the subcontractor. Maybe he's the painter, okay, and you're telling the subcontractor, if your team wears all the safety hats and safety equipments and use all the safety gears as expected and as instructed by the safety protocol, when they finish this external facade, and there are no more, there is no single incident being reported of them not following the safety protocols, you will get a bonus of this much. This could be for the entire team. Because when you say a person's record, this actually there are case studies. There are so many case studies. If you look at the internet for case studies regarding incentives and bonus for safety protocols, you will come across this. What happens is, if I say the entire class, if you all submit on target, on time or on or before time, then everybody will get two extra points, something like that. Then people tend to motivate each other. Friends will motivate and they'll help each other, and as a group they'll strive to get those extra points. But if I say on the first come, the child who's going to submit first will get extra 2 points, then this actually demotivates many. Because even I am very sure you would have felt, some of you would have felt this case. Yeah, whatever I do, yeah, she's going to get the mark or he's going to get the first mark. Why should I trouble myself in pushing myself in finishing this assignment faster? This this attitude is with everyone. Every student in a class, or sorry, every majority of the students think this way. Because there are certain percentage of toppers in every class. So these toppers tend to do things faster or better or efficient, in a very efficient manner, and they do this because they cannot stop themselves doing it this way. But this, if the teacher targets on these children and they say, oh, whoever submits first will get more points, automatically others get demotivated. So the same thing is applicable to your safety protocols and whatever bonus or incentives you are going to offer them. So the schemes to maximize, incentive bonus for the entire team, and also you can say the max to maximize their earnings, because when something, most of the things when they're tied to money, the people tend to work much better rather than their life. If you say you might fall down and hurt yourself, people might not really listen to you. But if you say, if you follow the safety protocol, there is a bonus, they might listen. So the probability of them listening and following it more. And this is how we are actually trying to motivate them. But this is one part is motivating and changing their attitude towards this safety things. But other problem is this could be because of their health issues and age related things, like poor memory, yes, and poor hearing, or poor eyesight, and language issues and communication problems. All these might come because of the varying backgrounds they come from, or varying various places they have come to work from. All this, okay. Yes, all these put together your physical health and experience and competence. And this is everyone will understand this point. No need to explain at all. When you have experienced mason, they work much better, and they are more cleverer in saving materials, and they are more they finish the job much with nice ease and style. And personality and attitude, irrespective of their competence level, they might have an attitude. So this is totally different. Their competence and attitude are nothing to do with each other. They are totally different. And the position in the team and training and competence. See, again, the position in the team. Sometimes what happens, if the leader follows it and make sure it is very, make sure to follow it strictly, make sure it is very important, then people might follow. But if you are a very, normal, one of the laborers, and if you're trying to impose this on others, it might not work. So who's saying it and what implication, what are the implications if they follow or not follow, again that matters. And tired colleagues, bored, disinterested colleagues, these are all the factors which affects the group mentality. You might have heard this when there earlier nowadays the society is much better. Earlier they used to have lots of problems, eve teasing cases and things like that. So what happens is, psychologists always say people tend to behave in a different way than when they are in a group. So this might happen to you also when you are working in a group work. If your groupmates are not working, and if they are keep on postponing, or not contributing to it, either you do it outperform everyone, you do it very well, or at times you get demotivated also. Even this happens, in a not in a group submission. For example, if there is a submission, you just talk to each other. Okay, have you done it? Because I had the experience of guiding your senior class. They'll talk to each other and send one baligada. This baligada will ask the teacher for extensions and permissions. Though people, do have done at least 70 to 80% of the job, if they can, because of the other students around them who have not performed, if they are going to get an extension, yeah, why should I work? That mentality creeps in. So and finally, not only your physical health but also your mental health. Mental health could, this is because it's resulted from your physical health, or drug and other abuse. Yeah, okay, I'll quickly finish this. So these are all the individual things. So finally, the attitude of the individual, and also the motivational level you're throwing at him, and the perception. His finally, after all this saying the motivation, he might change his perception towards this, and he might change his attitude. So all these three things are interlinked. Uh, okay, no, okay. I'll stop with this because I wanted to discuss this in detail. So I don't want to rush it, and so that you won't remember. Okay, so I'll move this. So this is your first assignment. The due date for this assignment is 8th September. Okay, and this is a group work, and so obviously you have to have you will do very less work. And I just assumed these people get along very well, so I just put them together. And depending on the amount of work they have to do, one group has many, and another group has less people. Because RERA is much smaller compared to your factory and building and other construction workers act. The amount of reading you have to do, that is what I have looked at. RERA, you can just divide among yourselves. The entire act can be divided into three components. If you have about 120 subpoints, each one can have study about 40 subpoints and just write down whichever is relevant to safety and construction work safety, not just everything. You don't have to really talk about RERA and stamp duty, or how to not to cheat customers, not necessary. Only part which is very close to the topic under discussion: accidents and work safety, or health of construction laborers or construction staff, anyone. Okay, so you will just study about all these three study these three acts, and only which is relevant. So if you find only 5 to 6 points are relevant in BOCW, I'm just saying for example, only six is relevant, then on the 6 7 you can just divide among yourselves. Even two people can talk about a single point. And if possible, try to get case studies, if possible. That is more opt. Ipo you might study about a particular class or amendment or rule or whatever. But if you relate to a particular situation or a case study, then it makes more sense. So this is what you're going to do. So the submission date is 8th. I will open up an assignment in your Google Classroom.
Ma'am,
And after correcting the assignment and going through it,
மேம்
yes,
ஆக்சுவலாக என்ன மேம் பண்ணணும், அந்த ஆக்டை பற்றி படிக்கணும் மேம். பிஓடபிள்யூசி ரிலேட்டட் டு சேஃப்டியாக எப்படி மேம் சொல்கிறீங்க?